The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
What is up? It is time for Cowboys Storyline. It's Wednesday, December 27th. I am Nick Eatman here. And let's do this. Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys and what's going on with the Cowboys in the playoffs and what do they need to do and how confident do you feel and all this good stuff. Can they get their mojo back at home? Can they beat a Lions team that is certainly not the Lions team that we've seen in recent years? It's going to be a tough physical game. Wouldn't expect anything else, anything less from Dan Campbell and that group. And they got a lot of good coaches over there that are got that team playing well. But obviously the Cowboys, we've seen it. We know they play differently at home, and the results are different, obviously, at home as well. So, all right, December 27th, I'll give a shout out to my best friend Chris Fisher. His birthday. He's the best dude I know. There's no doubt about it. No other way to say it. He's the best. He's my favorite Chris of all time. I'm muted. See, he's not my favorite Chris of all time. He's just one of my favorites from college. Anyways, speaking of Chris, we got another one on the line. We're going to get right to the lines here. Chris in Mississippi will start us off here. Chris, what's up?
Yeah, how you doing, Nick?
I'm great. You're my favorite Chris on the air right now.
I don't know if I will be after this call, man. When you talk about confidence level, I was at 10 earlier this year when I called and you had Woody on, and I think I'm more like a 2 now. It goes from the top all the way to the bottom, dude. It really
roller
does.
coaster.
I just don't understand. What I'm saying is, Mike McCarthy, why do you wait till this game to pull out Hunter Lemke? You've had all these other games you could have used this man in, and
is that a good or bad thing?
I like the concept, but the execution and the fact that they haven't been doing it all year and it's unfamiliar to the quarterback and to the running back, I just don't think it was a good time to do it.
But if he scores a touchdown, what do you say? Do you say, wow, they waited all year long and they pulled this out of his bag? Great job.
Okay, well, how about this, Nick? This is 2 games this year, this one and the Philly game, that if he had done what he had been doing earlier in the season and kicking field goals, we would have won the game anyway.
So when did he not kick a field goal? This game?
He could have kicked a field goal to that one. That was a 4th down play. He should have just kicked the field goal. We'd have won the game.
What?
We wouldn't have fumbled it.
That was first and goal. That was first and goal from the 1.
Well, that was first and goal? I thought it was 4th and goal.
First and goal from the 1. Got plenty of chances here. Plenty of chances to score because Pollard didn't get in.
They had converted a 4th down with Hunter Lemke earlier when I thought they should have kicked the field goal. That's what it was.
Right.
But anyway, I just I don't know. I'm just frustrated Cowboy fan, I guess.
No,
and since I was 11 years old, since we've had this good of a team, I believe. And the other thing is that Michael Parsons. I don't like complaining about the refs. The refs are awful. I don't know the fix for it. I guess you just make them full-time employees, but they're awful.
But you don't like complaining about them. I love that.
But I don't like the fact that Mike is complaining and trying to act like he's the best defensive player in the league or on our team. Because honestly, the most consistent player on defense on our team is Tank Lawrence, and has been for years. And in my opinion, he plays everything. He plays the run. He pass rushes, and I think that's the problem with our run defense. Everybody wants to pass rush. They don't want to stop the run. Micah included in that. This game he did do a little better job, but of pursuing the run and trying to stop it. But this is the first game all year I've seen him do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how hard is it for them to tell him, hey, man, act. Throw your hands up when they're holding you. When they got you in a chokehold, throw your hands up and fall on the ground. That's a 10-yard penalty right there. They're not calling it, so why don't you just try it? Try something different. It's just frustration on all levels And Nick, I don't know if it's going to get any better. I really don't.
Okay.
And that's what hurts me.
I don't either. I don't know if it's going to get better either.
Hey, let me ask
All
you
right.
a question. What would you give for a run stopping linebacker right now?
That's a tough question. I'd like to have one. But I don't know. What do you give, and how old is he? Does he have a contract next year? Are you going to keep him on the team? That's kind of, you can't trade it. You can't trade anything right now. So, you're not going to give much for a run stopping linebacker, because that means he's on the street and he's probably not that good. So, not a whole lot. But I know what you're saying. It's a big need. It's a big need. What you're really asking is, what position do you think that they really need to fix? And I think it's linebacker. So you're right on that. Didn't agree with some of the other stuff, but I mean, you basically just described the football, just the NFL. That's what it is. You were at a 10, now you're at a 2. You could be at an 8 next Saturday night if the Cowboys beat the Lions. Which there's still going to be a frustration of like, well, nice win, but they can't do it on the road, or they have to show they can do it on the road and all that. But again, as I said yesterday, nobody's worried about your confidence. No one's worried about my confidence. Our confidence doesn't matter here. It really doesn't. So we can say all these things that we want, and you're going off of what you see. But at the end of the day, they have to figure it out themselves. They have to figure out what they can do. And I think Jonathan Hankins' injury, I mean, that right there is becoming one of the biggest. He's one of the most valuable players on the team. And if you don't believe so, just look back the last 2 years. Every time he goes out, they struggle. And when he comes back in, they play better. So, I mean, get better, Hankins. All right, Michael.
By the way, and for a fact check for you, for Lupke's both runs were on 3rd and 1, by the way. Just fact check.
3rd and 1.
3rd and 1 from the 49.
Earlier in the game. He's talking about first down. Yeah.
He says when they ran him earlier in the game on 4th down. The only they got the 4th and 2, and Dak threw it to Ferguson. Those were the only time they got the 4th down.
Right. He touched the ball. Thanks, Chris. He touched the ball 3 times. 3 times on that drive. He touched it 3 times. He caught the ball once, and he had 2 runs. He was about to get it into the 4th time. He didn't get the ball. I mean, that's simple as that. He didn't get the ball. And I think it sounds like there was miscommunication on what the actual play was. So, yeah, you can fault the Cowboys for doing that, for putting him in the game. He'd already got in a couple times, but in that play right there on 1st and goal from the 1, it sounded like him and Dak thought it was 2 different plays. And so that's bad. I mean, but those other guys have got to score when they have a chance. I mean, I'm more upset with the Pollard play, honestly. I mean, I just can't imagine a running back that didn't get in the end zone on that play with that much space, that much room, and you need that much to go. I mean, you basically have to be picked up and thrown down to the ground to not score there, which is what happened. Michael, Colton, California.
What's going on, Nick?
Hey,
Merry
Mike.
Christmas
How
to
you doing?
and the whole Cowboys Nation. I'm doing good. Merry Christmas to you, the whole Cowboys Nation, and a Happy New Year to everybody. Anyways, with that being said, hey, man, that was a disappointing loss. But, hey, you know what? It's been a while since we lost 2 back-to-back, and you can't win them all. One play, they were a couple plays from going either way. If we would have won, we would have been sitting here talking about it was a great victory and this and that. But anyways, hey, there was a caller that the other day he posed a question. It was a very good one, and I sat and I thought about it. He said, who are we afraid of, in the playoffs? Once we hit the playoffs, who are we afraid of, And I thought about it. I was like, man, this guy's right, But then as I thought about it, maybe I overthought it, But I was like, man, you know what? You know who I'm afraid of? I'm afraid of the Dallas Cowboys. At the end of the day, I'm afraid we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot like we always do, And, Prescott, I'm really pulling for the guy. I don't mean to sit here and knock him all the time. But I'm just, I can't help but what I see. Like Parcells says, you are what you are, especially at this point in his career.
So what is he? What is he?
I mean, in my eyes, he's a great stat guy. He puts up numbers. But, I mean, like I told you before, and Nick, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like in the big games, you can see it in his eyes. It's like the lights are on, nobody's home, And
I do not know. I do not know on that one. I'm going to say no. So you said, I'm going to say no. I do not know that. I do not know that nobody's home.
To me,
dude's
to
a
me,
baller.
Like,
he is balling out. Watch the game the other day.
That was a great, drive. That was a great throw.
Yeah.
But you know what, Nick? I need consistency, not flashes of being good. I need consistency for him to be good.
Sure.
Do that every time. Okay, and another thing, I just want to say real quick. The other day I made that comment about Mike Tomlin, and I'm not at all calling for McCarthy's job, but I listen to all social media platforms of Dallas Cowboys, and I'm under the impression, kind of, from hearing everything else, is that if we didn't get over this hump, go past, we're first round, second round, like we always do, that Mike McCarthy would be gone. So I'm not at all calling for the man's job, not at all. You know what I'm saying? But all I'm saying is if Tomlin was there, I would want him. But all right, I'll hang up and listen.
Okay.
You have a good one, and Happy New Year's to everybody.
All right, thank you. It's just when you do the I'm not calling for anyone's job, but yeah, but you are. When you start talking about that, I mean, yeah, I mean, imagine saying that to you like your spouse. I'm not saying I want anyone else, but if it did, it would be this person. Like, good luck with that. So, no, we don't talk about other coaches right now or anything like that. I mean, got a head coach, has got his team in the playoffs 3 years in a row and trying to get them where they want to go, and nothing's happened yet. I mean, you can hear it in the callers that it's like, okay, when this goes bad, when they shoot themselves in the foot, I get it, and you're going off of what you see, but and what you have seen, but still got a lot to go. I think this is, there's 5 or 6 football teams in the NFL I think that can win it all. I think the Cowboys are in that group. They're one of the best teams. That's what I see. They do have some issues though running the football. They have issues with penalties. They have issues with things that will plague them in games, especially when you get into the playoffs. But you also are good enough to be there and have a chance to beat anyone, and that's something that not everybody can say. And I think there's something that's something I like to focus on for sure. Brian in Pennsylvania is our next caller.
Hey Nick, how you doing today?
I'm good. What's up?
I think it's kind of funny. I've called a few times, and I keep talking about how I don't care really what happens. I only care about the postseason, because it's really hard to not get wishy-washy.
Right.
Watching the Cowboys, because they will play like an all-star team one week and the Bad News Bears the next week.
Bad News Bears is the first of the movie or the end of the movie?
Well, it depends on. It
right.
Depends, right.
Right. That's the Bad News Bears.
Sunday.
Well, yeah. We'll see.
But one thing I wanted to say is I think we need to find these last few games. Don't worry about playoffs and playoff pictures. Just worry about what we can control inside, and how can we improve our run defense? How can we get those 3 and outs and get ahead because we play better ahead?
Mm-hmm.
How can we design a running scheme that's more creative, like the passing scheme that we've done this year? It's almost like the offense is almost there, but we haven't figured out how to adjust when they take away what we want to do. But I also think it's kind of funny when you're talking about the coaches because you got 10 wins.
Yep.
You were in the playoffs, 2 weeks ago you were in the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I get it. We're all frustrated and we want a Super Bowl championship, but let's not act like they're nothing. The problem with the Cowboys is their consistency range is so wide. They can either play at this super unbeatable level or this incredibly beatable level. And I think we just need to narrow those gaps a little bit and raise that to where our quality, consistently is higher.
Yeah. Well,
as far as everything else, I think after the season, it is 0-0. It is a new league. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In the playoffs.
Of course. I mean, 100%. And I think what you described, the Cowboys team, I bet you most teams are the same way. I mean, there's a lot of teams that they've, they're good teams, but they have stretches as well. And the Cowboys are in one right now, and we knew this was going to be a tough stretch. I mean, we knew that Buffalo, Miami, back-to-back was going to be tough. And then you put Detroit around it with Philly and Seattle. I mean, it's testing this team for sure. So, I think, like I said, I think this is a good football team. But most good football teams don't go to the Super Bowl, so they're going to have to figure out a way to turn it on to be great. And I know that's what I'm hearing from you guys, especially today, is that you haven't seen what it's going to take to go win, and which is go beat a good road team. We thought we had seen that, and that's the thing about the NFL. I mean, when you start the season with a 40-0 win over the Giants, you think, well, man, they just crushed a playoff team on their own place in the rain, 40-0. The Giants are a good team. Well, they're not. They're not. You thought the Chargers beating them after the 49ers, that was a good win, but they're not. They fired their coach. So, it's been one of the, didn't think the Bills were that good, and then now they're playing better, and then you lose to them. So it's just this ebbs and flows of the season. I mean, it happens, and we'll see though. I mean, but it is one of those things where you have to focus on the now, because the now does still affect the playoff picture. All right, Gary in New Mexico.
Hey, Nick.
Hi.
I hope you're keeping receipts on all of these callers, because I am. Okay. Not that means anything, but, I mean, this is what we get. And I used to be like this, and hopefully I'm getting better. But after a loss or a couple of losses, everybody's ready to fire the coach. The play calling is horrible. Dak Prescott's no good. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott's a good quarterback. And Mike McCarthy's a good – I mean, we want to fire Mike McCarthy to hire Mike Tomlin. We want to bring in Bill Belichick, who's got a dumpster fire in New England. This is really what people want. I mean, appreciate what you got and realize the season is not over. You had a great article. You had a great article on DallasCowboys.com. If Hunter Lipke doesn't fumble that ball, we probably win the game.
Yep.
I mean, if we don't turn it over there, and that's not play calling, that's player execution.
Exactly.
If the play you talked about with Tony Pollard, that's a great play call. He's just got to get in the end zone. You go back a week before to the Buffalo game, early in that Buffalo game, I think it was the second play of the game, they took a deep shot for Brandon Cooks.
Right.
He was wide open. They just didn't execute the play. Is that on the play caller?
Right.
That was a great play call. We just didn't execute it. And that's just the way the NFL is. And you work through these kinks and you figure this stuff out in these games, and you get better. I looked up something yesterday just out of curiosity. I went back and I looked up the 2010 Green Bay Packers. That was McCarthy's Super Bowl team.
Mm-hmm.
And I found something interesting there when I was just looking at their schedule and results. He lost 2 consecutive road games in December. And then he finished the season winning their last 2 games, and then they went on that Super Bowl run, which, by the way, they were a wild card team. They won all those games on the road. So history can repeat itself. I'm not saying they're winning the Super Bowl or anything. I'm just saying the season's not over.
Of course.
And let's see what happens. I feel about it. Tell me how you feel about this, and then I'll get off the phone.
All right.
I feel about the Miami game kind of like how I felt coming out of the Philadelphia game. Disappointed that they lost. They probably could have won. Maybe they should have won. But I'm encouraged by the way they played and the toughness. And that the drive that Dak Prescott had at the end of the game really gave me encouragement. I mean,
right.
They're good. They're good. They're close. Just be patient with them.
Thanks for the call, Gary. And I agree with what you're saying. And I know it's tough. It's tough for fans to get there. But I agree with that. Now, the one difference I would say about Philly is that the Philly game was the first one and Miami was the second one. And the reason why that matters is that after the first one, you're like, listen, tough game, had a chance to win, play like that down the stretch here against some of these other games, and we'll win that game. And that's what you're kind of waiting for, So then, okay, you did it again to Miami. And then so, like, that it's fine unless you finally are going to get a win. These games, these moral victory types games, need to lead to real victories. And so, especially on the road. And so, yes, it's encouraging to say you can go into Miami, go into Philly, play like that, have a chance to win, because you get in the playoffs, you're going to have to make that play. But you also need to be able to go back to something in the regular season and say, kind of like that game when they win and they did it. And they're not. The Cowboys are not going to have a win like that. They're not going to have a winning record on the road, and they're not going to have a signature win on the road going into the playoffs because Washington won't provide that for you. And so Carolina didn't provide it. Chargers obviously didn't either, and neither did the Giants. So if they do go into the playoffs at 4-5 on the road, they're not going to have that signature win to lean on. But it is what it is. I mean, take care of business and get a little luck your way, and maybe you don't have to go on the road. So all right, Travis in San Antonio is next caller.
Nick, what's going on?
Hey, Travis.
So I haven't heard I know you were talking about this yesterday about the win percentages and whatnot. I'm guessing that's kind of what you were talking about.
I actually did it yesterday. It's not that It's not that good. I mean, it's not a good stat. Honestly, I thought it was, but it isn't.
I'm sure it's not, but I guess like I said before, I still think, like you said, we use a poker analogy all the time. Like it's chipping a chair, right? If you're in, you got a shot. If you got a chip left, like play that chip and you just see what happens. I'm still not. I mean, are we perfect? Is the team perfect? No, but you never know. To sit here and say that we know what's going to happen, like the Rams could upset the Eagles, and you may go to Detroit instead of going to San Fran. We have no idea. You may beat San Fran for all we know. I don't think San Fran last year was expecting their quarterback to get hurt. In that Eagles game, I don't think the Eagles were either. So there's a lot of anxious people out there, and I just think we just need to once we're in, we just need to see what happens. But I wanted to hit a couple things real quick and just let you pick one to talk on. I watched like a lot of people I'm sure watched the San Francisco-Baltimore game. And I know you spoke about it yesterday. I don't think any area I looked at on both teams that was like they're clearly better than us in this area, except linebacker. Linebacker is the one area to me that stands out when you watch both those teams play.
Yeah,
that stands out the most to me. And I don't think Damone Clark, I don't know, like you said yesterday, I don't know if it's the neck injury. I don't know if he's still not over that, but he doesn't seem to be as physical as he was in college, and he is by far our biggest linebacker. I think Dan Quinn's undersized, we're smarter than you, and we can make it work, has a shelf life. I know Bell. Yeah. I know Bell is Bell, and he got forced into service. I think he's going to be like a good J.K. replacement, but I think they definitely need they need an actual true thumper in the draft, or maybe two that can complement Overshown, because I think Overshown's going to be kind of our Fred Warner. Not saying he can't hit, but I think he's going to be more of the coverage guy. They need to find that complement and not the undersized, well, this is going to be our do-it-all guy. No, you need a thumper, someone's going to set the tone in the second level and help with that run defense.
Sure.
And then Pollard, last thing, and I'll let you go, is that play that everyone's been talking about at the goal line.
Mm-hmm.
I think that kind of defines his season. And what I mean by that is, when we look at it, if he knew he had that burst, Nick, I think he doesn't cut that up. Like, I think if he looks at Elliott, he goes, I can beat this dude to the corner. Like, no problem. He doesn't cut it up. And the problem is he cuts it up, but I don't think – is he a tough guy? Absolutely. I'm not saying he's not tough, but he doesn't have – he lacks the ass that Zeke had. And I don't think if Zeke cuts that up, I don't think anybody's saying, like, Zeke gets stopped by Elliott there.
No.
So I just want to see what you thought by that. And it also kind of shows, like, his vision hasn't been there because that was not the play. So I just want to see what you thought about that.
Right.
Have a great week.
Thank you.
And I'll talk to you next week.
I mean, it's one of those things where if you put your foot in the ground like you're cutting it up and then you bounce to the corner, you're right. You should be able to win it. You should be able to win that and at least get an angle to kind of dive in. I looked at that play a couple times, just and it's easier to do when it's slow motion and you should have done this, should have done that. But yeah, your vision and instincts and is what you want, from a running back. And you need that. You need power. You need burst. You need to be able to cut back. You need to have the vision, acceleration, all those things that you need just about on every single play. And he didn't have it on that one. Cost him. That cost him the game. But he got a first down, and so you're thinking first and goal from the one. Well, what's the worst that can happen? Well, he handed the ball to Lipke, and he doesn't get the football. He just doesn't get it. And so and he didn't get it again the rest of the game. And you wonder what kind of leash he's going to have on that. I'm not sure. I mean, he didn't get it again. And they were down for first and goal from the 1, and then they decide to, run that play where they'd say, who's the best pass rusher? This guy? Okay, well, let's unblock him. And he got a 10-yard sack. But it actually helped them because they were able to get, throw it in there. Linebacker, I agree. We got to get we got to see that. We're going to have to see some improvement at linebacker next year. And, it's hard. It's hard to go into all that, what they're going to do, what kind of scheme, because, the end of the year is going to come and people are going to look at other head coaches, and is Dan Quinn going to be on that list, and is he going to take another job? I don't know. I don't know what who the coordinator is. I mean, I think that you have to factor that in, and because it's too early to factor that in, it's too early to factor in what are they going to do and all that kind of stuff. All right, Anthony in Columbia, South Carolina. Anthony.
Yeah, this is Anthony.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing today?
I'm good. What's up?
Hey man, I'm just going to make it quick, man. I'm not trying to be a Cowboy hater. I've been a Cowboy for probably 40 years. I'm a 59-year-old man, and from what I can see with the Dallas Cowboys, man, they just don't have the personnel, man, to go deep in the playoffs this year. They're hurting at linebacker. They're hurting in the back, as a running back. We just don't have the personnel, man. They're going to have to draft some guys, man, to fill in those spots, man. Right now, I just don't see us beating nobody in the playoffs, man. I think they're one and done. And with that, man, that's all I got to say. I'll just hang up and listen.
All right. I don't agree. But I mean, they need more, playmakers. There's no doubt about it. I don't think they'll be one and done. I think they're going to be the best team when they face, when they play whoever they play. If they're the 5 seed or the 2 seed, I think they're going to be the best team on the field. If they're the 2 seed, they should win the game. 5. If you go to Tampa, you go to the Saints or Falcons, or who knows what happens with them. But I still think that they have a chance to win that game, and then. Or they should win, honestly. They should win their first game because they're going to be a better team, in my opinion. And then from there, if you can get to the divisional round, and then who knows? I mean, if you're at the 1 seed or the 2, or who knows? It's a weird league. It's a strange. You got the Rams that are playing good football right now, and the Rams are probably going to be at 6 or 7. What do they do? Or do they go beat somebody? So who knows? I think that you're right. Running back, linebacker. Yeah, those are positions that you definitely need, in the playoffs, because it comes down to running the ball and stopping the run. Those are the 2 things that you really need to do. When you go up against a team like the 49ers, your linebackers have got to play well. Same with your running backs. And so, yeah, there's some holes there, but can they go beat a team, win a game? That's the thing that always kind of confuses me here. And we got negative calls today, and that's great. Now, but I mean, the kid misses the field goal. Okay, somehow Christmas miracle, 29-yarder, hits the post and he misses. Are they a better team now than they were because there would be 11-4? I mean, do they have the same issues? Those offense never touched the football again after they scored a touchdown. My point is that it's close. I don't think we would have negative calls today had they missed a field goal. It had nothing to do with them. So that's all I'm saying is that they're there. They're right here. Sure, we'd love for them to be better, but they're good enough to compete. And when you compete in the playoffs, you have a chance. That's all I'm going to say. If you guys want to go and start talking draft, that's fine. We got shows for that. We'll get to the draft show. We got people on here that are already studying for whatever reason. They are studying that. And if y'all want to talk draft, you can talk draft. I'd rather talk about the Lions and talk about the games they got coming up here. That's me, because I still think this stuff matters. April, May, June, everyone's thirsting for football. USFL, XFL, that doesn't cut it. Unless you're going to get a kicker that you're going to make into all-pro, yeah, then I'm interested. But that doesn't cut it. We wait so long to get here, and now we get here, and we're going to talk about the draft. Not me, not on this show. So, all right, Rob in Vegas. Can't wait. Rob, what do you got?
I love the show because I love the fans. I love the callers.
Yep.
But what I'm hearing, I'm a little confused. Of course, we're happy the Cowboys are going to the playoffs. We're obviously big fans. We call into the show. We listen to the show. But you got to be realistic. It's not that when I call in, it's not that I'm saying they can't win. Of course they can win. Once you get in the tournament, you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
But I penciled, if you told me this team was going to have a top 5 quarterback, wide receiver, a defense at one point in time, play these god-awful teams like the Giants and Carolina, and still we cannot beat anybody on the road. We still lead the league in penalties. We still can't stop the run, and we can't run. So you look to the future, and you say to yourself, okay, what is it going to take to win in the playoffs? And it's those things, unfortunately. You don't usually play 40, 35 type games in the playoffs. They're tight. And we see when this team is playing in the playoffs, they get tight, and they get tighter on the road. So I say to myself, this is going to suck. Yeah, could we beat maybe Tampa Bay? Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably. Or maybe the Saints. But you got to go to Philly. You can't be confident, Philly. I know we beat Philly. We match up. But it's a different animal in Philly. Playoffs. We get penalties at the worst times. We're not stopping the run anytime this year if the other team wants to really run it. We just don't have the physicality. We have nobody big that plays linebacker, so we can't. The only hope is you get a lead, like we played Detroit. We have to get a lead and force Jared Goff to try to beat us, and I like our chances. But we cannot fix that. We cannot fix the penalties. We haven't fixed it in years. So you can't expect that that's going to be fixed. We can't fix Tyron Smith. He holds us hostage every year. As great as he is when he's on the field, you just don't know. Mm-hmm. So you can't fix those issues. So as fans, yes, you're going to get. You just had a caller that said, "Be patient, be patient." 30 years. Playoffs is great, but the playoffs is only great if you keep taking another step. The beauty of the 90s was you saw them got a little better, and then boom. We 12-5. Yes, I like it. 12-5, I like it. Who knows this year? Maybe 12-5, I like it. But not if you keep getting knocked out in the second round of playoffs. It's meaningless.
Yeah. Well.
So that's all I'm saying, and that's what most fans are saying.
That's fine.
We got confidence. We're fans.
Doesn't sound like that. I don't hear a lot of confidence. I don't have confidence in what though? Confidence in what? You say we have confidence. Because I just heard the last 30 seconds you said. Where's the confidence?
So here's the confidence, what I just said.
Uh-huh.
If they put it together like last year, they went to Tampa Bay, played probably the best game they played all year.
Right.
They just put it together.
Right.
Unfortunately, the following week, they did not.
Yeah.
So, yes, this team has the capability to put it together like when they played Philly. The problem is their track record on the road is bad. And I don't see it getting any better. And they won't, like you said, they won't know because beating Washington,
right?
So we won't know. So that's in their mind. Dak Prescott, he's not the same quarterback in the playoffs. He's not the same quarterback on the road. So as much as I like him, it's just a fact. So he thinks that. And the defense is not physical. You're going to play probably physical teams. The games usually get more physical in the playoffs. They haven't responded good to that. So there's these doubts. But, yeah, I'm happy they're in the playoffs because what else would I be doing?
Yeah.
Watching golf. So that's the thing. Right. We're excited, but you just got to be a little realistic.
Okay, and I'm thanks for the call. And I'm, for me, this is me being realistic. The Cowboys are clearly the second best team in the NFC. I mean, they are not the best team in the NFC. I think you can make a case about Philly because they've beat each other, and right now they're about the same. Dallas and Philly is about the same. Dallas and Detroit, we'll find out. I mean, I kind of think the Cowboys maybe are a little better, but they don't have a better record, and we'll see. We're going to get to find out on Saturday night. So I think the 49ers still are the best team in the NFC, and then I think Detroit, Philly, and the Eagles are all right there. And then after that, you got teams that, they have to just kind of figure out ways to get hot at the right moment. You're seeing the Rams do it. That's my point, is that I think that the Cowboys are right there but they're not where the 49ers are. And they haven't beaten the 49ers in the last 3 times. So that's what's going to be interesting if they have to go play San Francisco. Where's the mindset? How do they figure out and rally together to do that? Realistically, I don't see a huge playoff run. I don't see them going to the Super Bowl. I don't see it because I've never seen it. Not since I've been here. So I'm realistic. I don't get ahead of myself. But that's the thing. Go back and watch all of these shows if you have time and if you're that bored. Because I don't ever do that. I don't jump ahead. You guys are jumping ahead. I don't do that. I think this team, it's a 10, what are they, 10-4, 10-5. They're 10-5. They're 10-5. They got a really good opportunity to get to 11-5 and maybe 12-5. And then we'll see what happens in the playoffs. But all this jumping ahead, you look stupid. You look stupid when you do that kind of stuff. I mean, that's just the way it is, because you can't get ahead of this league. You can only go by what you see, and that's fine until they prove you wrong, good or bad. No one thought they were going to lose to Arizona, and they did. They got their ass kicked. I mean, that's the thing. You get surprised by stuff. Enjoy the moment. That's me. I'll do it my way. Y'all do it your way. Yes, I agree. Some of you guys have some confidence. Some of you guys do not. But like I keep saying, our confidence doesn't matter. They've got to figure out a way to be confident. They got to figure it out. All right. I feel like a broken record here. Anthony, Miami, Florida. What's up?
Nick the Quick. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. Hey, oh my God, that last segment, Nick. I'm with you, bro. When we met, you heard my enthusiasm, but when I called, you said I was a lightning rod in the beginning, because I said exactly what you're saying. I said, well, my expectations are I'm going to love them regardless, and I expect to get to this point, and I'm good with that. Mm-hmm. So all that looking forward and all that, it surprised me. I'm still going to support you, but surprise me.
Yeah.
So, that's me on that. Nick, when we had said those movies and all that, you did watch Radio, right?
Oh, yeah. That's okay. That's one of my top 3. I said Radio, Rudy, and Remember the Titans, all with the R. Radio. Love it.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be my honorable mention. I love that movie. Remember the line when Coach Jones said, when he was in the barbershop and he knew he had to give up football to radio, and he went, I love football. I love it when you're looking for a win on Friday and you found one on Saturday.
Yep. That's a great line. That's a great scene. Isn't
it? There you go.
Is this what you want, Frank? Is this what you want? That's all I remember. The guy
Exactly. That being said, I love football, and I love what's going to happen Saturday night when these Cowboys get a win, because they got to get a win for my coach.
Yeah.
I'm a Jimmy Johnson, of course, UM fanatic, and the Cowboys. Those are my teams.
Okay.
So Jimmy going into the ring, all I can expect for the Cowboys to do, all I wish for them to do, is continue this home dominance and win this game. I don't care what else happens during the season. We're already in the playoffs. We'll see. We'll open up our box and our present later. But I need you to win this for this coach who set a standard. You got to give it to him. He set a standard. The way Coach Landry set a standard, and those guys and America's team back in the day for those 90 players and stuff, he set a standard for these guys, Nate and all these guys, Troy and Emmett and the triplets and all of them, to enjoy what they're enjoying now. Because not everybody's bringing it every week. But they're enjoying the privilege of what comes with wearing that star on their helmet. So let's go ahead and beat Detroit. I expect them to win that game and do what they got to do. And I got one more thing, and it's been the topic of the day yesterday. I finally listened to all, 6 shows. I listened to every show. I was off. I listened to all the way to Girls Talk Boys. I laughed. I got mad at a couple callers for calling people out and telling them how they should think and shut up and all that. Mm-hmm. And I learned something. Broadus is a gym. Nate is a gym. Y'all just don't know what y'all got with those 2 guys. Well, you might do, but those 2 guys are gyms. What I see with the holding on Micah, go ahead and voice your opinion. I don't follow him all the social media stuff, so I don't know everything he says, but voice it. I mean, I'll say this much. Yeah, they're holding you. But your effort could be better on some things. But they're holding you. They're egregiously. But in my opinion, in 54 years of living, and I guess 48 of them watching football. I've never seen the calls and the referees be this bad. I don't know what's to that. I'm talking about in all games across the board. So maybe they need to look into that a little bit.
You think Mike is getting held a lot?
I think he's getting held a lot. Yeah, okay. I think he could push through some of it, but I think, you know.
But you want him to keep talking? I mean, these refs are human. They hear.
I want him to voice it, but, you know, not
do it.
You know. Yeah, don't be constantly doing it now.
But he is. That's the problem. He is constantly doing it. And you know what? He's one of the best pass rushers in the league, if he's not the best, and he's not getting a call in 10 games. There's no way that happens. There's no way that the best route runner in all of the NFL is not getting held and not getting a PI called one time in 10 games. That's just not the way they call it. That's the thing. The way they call this, I mean, there's no way. Go back to the Buffalo game. And thanks for the call, Anthony. I appreciate you. Yeah, good stuff as always. Good positive. You know, and that's, you know, you did stir the pot way back in when you said, hey, I don't need a Super Bowl and all that kind of stuff. Which you're living in the moment. I get that, and that's where I think it's a healthy attitude to have. But what I was saying about Buffalo was that, you know, go back to that game. That was a critical moment in the first drive where they got a first down. They're inside the 30, and they called a penalty very late on Tyler Smith for a hold. And you watch that, and you're like, I guess. But then when you see the way that Micah, there's no way that's not happening. So that's the thing. They call it differently on the outside. I think they give offensive tackles way more freedom to hold than they do kind of on the inside guys, which I don't know if that should be the case, but that definitely seems that way. All right, Esteban in Austin, Texas is our next caller. What's up?
Not much. I just I don't get a lot of chance to call in.
Yeah.
But, again, I just love the show.
Appreciate it.
I know one thing I really like about your show, it seems like you're just as upset as us fans after a loss. It seems to kind of, I don't know. Just
I don't know about upset. I don't know if it's upset. It's, you know, but it's I don't even know if it's frustrating. Yeah, I mean, disappointing. I mean, you have chances, but like I've said before, had they won that game, they would have stolen it from the Dolphins. I thought the Dolphins were better. So the fact that they kicked the field goal and won with 2 seconds to go, yeah, that sucks. It probably didn't make your Christmas dinner taste very good. But you know, after they scored right before the half, I thought they were going to lose by 21 points. I 100% thought they were about to get blown out. After they gave up that touchdown. And so I was a little surprised that they hung in there the way they did, honestly.
No, I agree. And I think that going forward, I see McCarthy adjusting. The Bills' loss was just terrible. I don't think there was anything good that came out of that, but him taking the team going into Miami and making adjustments, getting the game, like you said, taking it away from the Dolphins, I think there's a lot of positives. I kind of have some hope going into the playoffs in the next few weeks, but I think things will turn around for them in the next couple of weeks.
All right. Well, appreciate it. Thanks for the call. We got a few more minutes here. We got a couple of transactions that just happened, just kind of came through the wire. The Cowboys needing linebacker help. Released veteran Rashaan Evans. So, I don't know. And they've activated Matt Walesko to the 53-man roster. So, he's ready to come back, and we'll see if he can stay healthy. And I don't know what that means anything for Tyron Smith or what. It probably just for more backup help, maybe as a swing tackle. But, of course, you know, he's a young player that's never played. But Rashaan Evans, that experiment, that's kind of the point about would you take a linebacker, getting these linebackers on the street. I mean, there's a reason why they're there. So, and they're probably going to go back there. So anyways, all right, Reggie, Germany is our next caller. Reggie in Germany. What's up?
Hey, what's up? Merry Christmas.
You too.
Cowboys family. Hey, Nick. Listen, I got to tell you, man, I agree with you 100%, bro. You know, I don't know what's going on with the conversation today, but you know, coming off and saying like the Cowboys are going to be one and done, and you know, well then you don't need to follow the team after the first round. You know?
Yeah. I mean, but here's the thing. Like, I understand. Like, I say this 1,000 times. Like, my opinion is that's just my opinion. Just like it's y'all's opinion. Whoever says they're going to be one and done, they're being optimistic and realistic about what they believe. And also, it's a defense mechanism too, because you're like, they're not going to let me down again. You know, like I understand a lot of people that think that way. I'm not going to get my hopes up, because I've seen this movie too many times. So I get it. I understand why people say a certain thing. And that's kind of my point is I can think a certain way. I thought they were going to lose by 21. They didn't. My opinion didn't matter at that point. You know, it's all about them. That's kind of what we're saying. We're sitting here just talking about stuff. McCarthy's got to figure out a way to get that team focused. Sorry, though, Reggie.
That's right.
Go ahead.
You're exactly right. And I'm with you on that. Nick. You know, look, you don't always agree with what I have to say, you know, and I'm with you on that too. You know, I don't call you to hear you agree with me.
Right.
I call you to ask your opinion. You know that. I say, tell me what your opinion is on that, and whatever it is, I'm gonna go with it, even if I'm not happy with it. You know, I don't have to agree with it.
That's just,
but it's your opinion. Just like when I was talking about the game face thing. You know,
right.
I still agree on that. I still agree on that. You know, I played ball all my life, and you know, I know when I played a team that was like cross-time rival, and they've been kicking our ass for the last 3, 4 seasons, 5 seasons, 10 seasons. Mm-hmm. You know, we're convinced that we're committed to not letting that go on a year further. And we take the field, and we got a game face on. We are, you know, prepared to play. You balls, you know, I know you played.
Let me ask you this though. You're talking about getting on the field, and you had a game face. Who saw it? Your teammates?
Yes.
Who
absolutely.
else? Who else? The opponents?
I'm not doing it for the fans.
But my point is, this goes back to my point. Game face, if that even matters. You see it in your eyes. You see it in the guys in the huddle. You see the guys across from you. Do they have it? Do they not? The guys in the stands don't see it. The guys on TV don't see it. And no offense, but the guys in a different country don't see it either. So that's my point.
The team we're up against, they see it.
Right, but so who are you and me to talk about someone's game face when Fox doesn't show a guy's face more than 4 or 5 times a game? How do we know what game face is? The opponents might. That's all I'm saying. That's why I think it's weird for us to talk about game face and leadership and heart and things that you can't prove, especially from miles away. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
But stick with it. Nick. That's your thing. You know, that's your thing. And someone else called about Dak in his eyes too. I mean, I don't see that. I really don't. I don't see game face. Eli Manning is my excuse there. Eli Manning. What was his game face? This guy's going to Canton, and he'll have a weird game face when he goes there.
Yeah, well, he has spent his whole life with a weird face, you know.
I got one, but then again, you know, I'm not really trying to you know make plays. All right, Reggie, you got anything else? We got to get rolling. We got one more call.
No, that's it. That's it, man. I just wanted to
Thank you.
We don't agree with you on that. All right, man.
Thanks for the call. All right, Dylan, Northport, Florida is our last one.
Hey, Nick, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Haven't been able to listen today, so I don't know what the attitude's been like from the callers, but
go back and listen. It's been fun. I mean, but let me say this before you get to your point. I just want to say that I don't have the answers either. This is not what the show is not to be like. Throw your opinion, and I'm gonna tell you right or wrong. You're not gonna be right or wrong in your thoughts. That's just the way it is. I think a big part is I think a lot of fans go. That they always say, "Am I the only one that thinks this, or does anyone else think this?" And that's what this show is here to provide. Other perspectives. Oh, you're in Florida. This guy's in Germany. Y'all think the same or not the same? That's what the show is. And I'm just here to kind of facilitate it and say, give my thoughts. But we're all in the same boat. I'm not the voice of reason here. I'm just throwing stuff out what I think. So, all right, sorry, Dylan, go ahead.
You're good. I just want to shed hopefully some positivity. It doesn't sound like it's been a lot of positivity today.
Not really.
So, there's not really. We're the same team as we were a week ago, 2 weeks ago, when we were killing it with the same team. I mean, nothing has changed. The loss against the Dolphins hasn't changed anything. We needed the Eagles to lose before. We need the Eagles to lose now.
Right.
We know what this team is. We need a left tackle, okay? With a left tackle in that game, we win against the Dolphins. I'm pretty sure of that. Pretty confident. And you look at some positives from that game. Dak came through in the clutch, right? He delivered when it mattered most. You can say what you want about him, missing some stuff during the game, whatever, but he came through in the clutch. Defense held one of the best offenses in the league to 5 field goals. I mean, that's a win. So I'm not going to complain about that. They couldn't get it done when it mattered most, so, that sucks. But there's some positives you can take away from that game. There's no need to ditch the whole season, want to fire a coach, want to replace Dak, all this silliness that, I'm hearing kind of on Twitter and sometimes, on the show and stuff. So everybody just calm down. The season, we're about to get into the real season here in a couple of weeks. We'll know this week, right now. This week, we'll know who the Cowboys really are when they play the Lions, because that's who they're going to be playing in the playoffs again. I guarantee it.
Right.
So
no, I agree. I agree. 100%. I thought that you're right. We're about to get this thing started. We really are. I mean, the season's almost over regular season wise, but you play these games to get yourself in position. Sure, you'd like to have a better position than where they are. You got to get lucky. And I don't think the Cowboys have been extremely lucky. This team was supposed to rely on defense, and they've had 2 really key injuries on defense this year that has, it has hurt them. One of them at linebacker, and of course, one of them at cornerback as well. But everybody's dealing with it. You got to fight through it. You got to fight through. You got to have the right, backups, at these positions of need. And so that's what the Cowboys are still doing. Still making roster moves, still trying to figure this out. But yeah, we're just getting started here. Honestly, we're just getting started. It's about to get really fun. It's going to be a playoff type atmosphere, I think, Saturday night against the Lions. And this is a team that they have to go beat. I think that they can prove something to themselves. They got to get off the mat. They're down 2 straight losses, but it's still there. I really believe they're going to be sitting in Washington in a couple of weeks with one eye watching this game, one eye watching this game. You got to take care of business here. But I firmly believe that the Cowboys will beat the Lions. They'll be playing in Washington, trying to win that game, and wearing giant blue as well, hoping that the Giants can maybe pull off a stunner. If that happens, that changes a lot of things about your playoff picture. But you can only control that. You got to beat the Lions first, and we'll talk about that and a lot more tomorrow when we come back. So for Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We'll see you tomorrow on Cowboys Storyline. See you.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!